We're on to the next. Most people are aware uh, of you calling Peter out in the past, so we don't need to necessarily revisit that. But let's rewind to your visit to the UFC Performance Institute. You were both on that trip. You both seem very cordial in the footage that I have. In addition to an interview I have with Peter, he said that he really checked the ego on that trip. Had you laid things to rest before then or had talked previously to that trip?
No. When we were kind of organizing the trip, I was just trying to get a bunch of guys together to get good work, and his name popped up. And I was like, we could both get good work. Like, at that point, I was fighting on the finale. Nobody really knew yet. So, New England MMA beef was almost as stupid as it sounds, like below me. I was worried about the guys in the UFC now. So anybody that could help me or I could help, let's work together and I'll get better. And we got some good work in that week. So that's why this whole thing kind of caught me off guard.
The attention has now been averted back to a potential fight that you've been lobbying for against Peter, with this renewed animosity towards him after his vivid, inappropriate breakdown of your female teammates' fight.
Everything that he said, like, trust me, KK has said worse things in the gym to us. We've probably said worse things to her, but she's like a sister to us, so that's okay. And people might think that it's not, but it is. Like, we say stuff like that, she laughs. She said worse stuff like that to me, I laugh. Anybody outside the gym, you don't get that right.
How much of the fact that it's Peter is it magnified in the simple fact that you have had this history with each other?
A lot more than I thought it would, only because, like I said, I thought we were cool. So to not only be cool with me to my face and then attack a teammate of mine as well as myself, I just can't respect it as a man. The biggest thing about the whole situation was I didn't know that he said any of these things until the next day when somebody brought it up kind of almost in passing, like, yeah, I can't believe he said that. And then they kept talking, and I was like, wait, what? He showed up to the bar at the after party when we were all watching the UFC, and the first thing he said was like, I need a drink. And I had 2 beers in my hand, and I was like, hey, man, take one. And he hung out with a couple of my friends, and like I thought we were all cool. And then when I looked back on the Cage Titans page and saw that stuff he said, I was like, how are you as a man going to look me in the face and pretend you didn't just coach against me to my opponent 3 hours ago or absolutely tear apart my teammate making her amateur debut 3 hours ago?
We're going to be real. That happens, especially between sick guys and South Shore guys. Even Lausanne, I mean, some of the top schools, that shit happens. Fans and even fighters who are there as fans are often going to coach again from the stands, right?
Yes.
What was it? Was it again because of the platform he was on? If he was in the seats, would it have bothered you so much?
No. It's just it wasn't the platform when it came to me. The platform only bugged me when he attacked KK verbally. Me, I could care less because we can solve the problem. We can fight. KK can't. My thing is that he did it and then he came up to me like it never happened. Like, he didn't even acknowledge it. Like, when I first called him out, I was cordial in person. He called me fake for it. I was trying to get a fight and hype up a fight. But this was, he came up to me like trying to share drinks with me and party with me. And it's like, when I called him out and had a problem with him, I let it be known that I had a problem with him. And after training together and living together for a week, I kind of just thought we were straight. But apparently not. And like I said, we can solve the problem and just fight. And that's as simple as it is. Like, this sport is not complicated. We got a problem. Well, there's a cage going to be set up on January 26th.
You guys were even drilling with each other. Him seemingly throwing up a drill and you guys doing it back and forth. It seemed like there was no issue. I mean, obviously the camera's going to capture whatever it was, but I mean, it seemed like there was no issue there.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I didn't think the drill benefited me or my style. But like I said, I brought Pete along on the trip because I was hoping that he could help me and I could help him. So we trained together. We let the beef die as far as I was concerned. And I left my mind open to anything. So he said, I got a good drill that might help you. So I did the drill and I thought we were cool.
In that same interview, he made the comment to see him succeed at that level. I know I could succeed at that level. During your sparring, what was your take away from his skill, and how do you think he would fare amongst the ranks of the UFC?
I think that he likes to go decently hard. I think that he was probably going about 80%, and I was going about 20. And I think that he has a lot of potential, but at 32 years old, you need more than potential, or however old he is. I feel like at his age, most people are hitting their prime, and I feel like he just kind of still has those basic tools that could make him great. He does a lot of things right, and I just think that he assumes certain techniques are going to work better than they do. Like, you can train something a million times, but when you get into a fight, you're not going to be able to rally off that 5-6 punch combo. You're going to only hit 1-2, and you're going to have to move, or you're going to have to change it up and adapt, because that's what the sport is. It's a lot of reacting. I think that he could have done pretty well on my season, The Ultimate Fighter, and maybe hung around with a couple of the lower end 55ers, but I just think that I don't think he would have stuck around for long.
What do you think about the whole what happens in the gym should stay in the gym?
For the most part, I think what happens in the gym should stay in the gym, but that's also only if you're gonna respect each other as teammates. And granted, we don't train at the same place and we're not teammates, but for that week, we were a team. But I guess right now we're not anymore, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. I think that we both kind of went in there with the beef squash, but we still, like, we're fighters. We still kind of want to test ourselves, and we wanted to see. No, we didn't want to fight in the PI, but we wanted to see, like, kind of what would have happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's got that Rocky Apollo Creed to it. Like, what would have happened if we went again? And I think real fast in that round, I realized, like, oh, he needs to try really hard, because if you watch the video, there's little effort. I'm not putting out much. So I just think that's a reason he hasn't really answered me. I think he found out for a fact that week, oh, I'm glad I didn't fight Joe.
How much of what you guys sparred inside that do you feel would translate into the cage?
I think all of it. I think that that was his technique. His technique's his technique. If anything, it's just a little bit more power. And there's little things that you do in sparring or you don't do in sparring depending on what message you want to get across. Like, when I catch you off guard with a question mark kick or any type of kick, and I don't kick you in the face, the etiquette that you should return with is, I'm not going to catch it and try and sweep your leg out. And if you watch that video, he catches one of my kicks and, like, goes to sweep my leg out and then stops. But it's like, in reality, I would have kicked you in the mouth, so you wouldn't have caught my kick. So it's one of those things where he was trying to get a point across that if it were a fight, he wouldn't have the opportunity to catch that kick. You know what I mean?
Yes. Things are different full speed.
Like that. Things are different full speed, and that goes both ways. I'm sure there was things that if he threw full speed, it would have been different.
Absolutely.
But after sparring him and rolling with him and wrestling with him, I think that his only chance of beating me would be to close his eyes and throw an overhand left as hard as he can.
Have you gotten a response?
No, he knows that he's wrong, and he knows that I will whoop that ass.
Follow us on Instagram, watch us on YouTube, check us out on Facebook, visit us on Twitter, and stay tuned.